Greetings, welcome to day 53 of Project Dig. Thank you for joining. I hope you're having a good day so far. Today is Sunday, which means we're starting a little later in the day. Got some yard work done this morning. And now it's time to work on some Lua binding scripting support for our custom C++ engine. projectDIG is a 2D multiplayer automation survival game that we are developing here, making that custom game engine. We've been kind of doing some scripting support the last few days. We're going to be continuing to work on that today. We have focused on this script here, which runs through all of our header files, finds these Lua tags like Lua User Type and Lua Func, Lua Var, and then generates this Lua User Types.cpp file. So this is generated, and it includes all of our different user types, so that way we can actually use this stuff in Lua. So there's still more work to be done, of course. There's always work to be done. Yesterday I was trying to figure out how to get this right. And after I actually cheated just a tiny bit last night, I played around with this until I got it to compile. I was running into this issue, so we could see it if we go back to here. This is the issue I was running into, where it says, hey, this function does not take 12 arguments, and that makes no sense, and I was confused by it. What does this mean? And then I did this. I moved it just to try things, and then suddenly it was able to tell me a little bit more information. It said no matching overloaded function found. Like, oh, it's running into an overload problem. So then I changed it. Let's actually change this one instead. I changed it, and suddenly it started working. Oh, whoops, we have an extra comma here. There we go. And then suddenly it works, which is cool. That means, though, that we need to generate something like this. So basically, we want to get this information from world, and I don't know how necessary it is for me to do this. Like, I actually yeah, this is a good question. So I want this to return a reference that I can change. Let's make sure that that is happening. Functions. Argument passing. Not exactly what I want. So we're kind of looking for Lua function reference. Type keeps around a reference to something inside of Lua. It might just happen automatically. Perhaps I should test this. It might be happening already. So this is working. Maybe we could play with that, yeah. So we do have this problem here. That maybe I can change all uses. No, that's not right. Anywhere that I get the world component, I want to change it. Actually, maybe this will be right. So we don't want this one, but we do want that. I want that one. Render layers. So this is something we want. Entity layers, we don't want that. So any of the ones that we don't pass in, I want to rename it to get world. Two layers, that's good. This one we don't want. Don't want. We want. We want, we want, we want. We don't need either of those. Do want that. Let's actually just uncomment all of those. That looks good. I don't think we want any of those. Okay, so that looks good. Let's rename all of that to get world and see if that compiles. A tiered strike. We must also implement reference counting. Do I? It's something I've been trying to figure out. Like, is there a way for me to just say, hey, don't worry about the lifetime of this stuff? I am managing it. Whoops. And my eye just start freaking out all of a sudden. Standard reference T. Okay. So here it says essentially the reference table things passed to Sol as a pointer or as a std reference T are considered to be references and thusly do not have a garbage collector method by default. All route pointers are non-owning in C++. If you're working with a C API, provide a wrapper around pointers that are supposed to own data. To keep things clean. What does this mean? All raw pointers are non-owning pointers in C++. That's if it's passing it to that. Okay, I think that's what it's talking about, is if it gives, if let's say we create some object in Lua and then we call a function that goes into C++ and we say, hey, we're taking a pointer, a raw pointer. It's going to be a non-owning pointer, as meaning that the garbage collector is taking care of it, right? I don't know if that's right, actually. Yeah, I think maybe we'll play around with this some. Read this, it's very useful. Here. Reading. One sec. Okay. So, yeah, so I understand that. That's on the other side though. What I'm kind of thinking about is what if I yeah, so this is for love specifically. So I'm not entirely sure how applicable it is to me. But I'm thinking that if an object is created on the Lua side, what I'm more wondering is, let's say I want to return a reference here. Is that going to change the object correctly? And let's say I was returning a pointer. It's not going to try to like delete it or do anything like that. So it's going to leave it alone. Because I think ultimately, I never want Lua to do any sort of garbage collection on objects besides, I guess, really basic things like stuff that is not going to live outside of the scope. So like, let's say we say, oh, let's get the area for this thing. Let's create a rectangle, check the area to see if it overlaps. And then at the end of that function, we want that rectangle to be garbage collected, or, you know, it's freed up and it can be, you know, cleaned up by the garbage collector at some point in the future. But most of the time, we are going to just have stuff living on the C++ side. You know, that's where all of our components and world components and everything live. That's where all the data lives. So we don't really want the Lua garbage collector or Lua to be managing the majority of our memory. So I think what I'm going to try doing is just playing around with this a little bit. And see, maybe what we'll do is we'll get one of the examples that he has in here. Lua script. Trying to we expose it, and then I guess we want to run the script. Trying to think how I want to handle that. I see. I kind of understand. Load result. Maybe I'll just try something like this for right now. Load it up. Do something like right here. Maybe we can. We don't have it in here. That's right. Okay, maybe we'll do it over in here then. I want to just do like transform.x bounds.x plus equals 10. If x is valid, if it's not, failed to load. And then we could pass in world and the ID. Oh, we haven't created that entity yet. Annoying. We're creating this here. You can't do plus, that's right. Man, I hate Lua. Oops. Hey, pink fluffy llama, what's up? Okay, let's pull this out. Over here for right now. Just to test things out. Transform. I guess I need to... Yeah, maybe... Here, we actually... Maybe what I could do is... set it in here. ID, X, and Y, and then we could just say X. And Y. And so then this needs to be Squirrel is another scripting language similar to Lua, but doesn't have all fallbacks of Lua. Yeah, I looked at Squirreling, and it's pretty nice looking, but it just looked like it's not quite as convenient to set up. So that's kind of like the trade-off, really, is like this is easier to get set up, but it's kind of suckier to work with long run. I don't know, maybe I will seriously consider doing it. It is something to consider. I think that's actually 16. Right. Like, Squirreling is nice for some things, but it's kind of sucky for other things. Okay, so let's rename this to like reposition. This is just me testing something, seeing if it actually sets it up properly. Just messing around with some Python, doing devious things. Nice. Devious things. Okay, does this compile? It does. Let's see if this will compile. Like everything. It does. Okay, let's try running it. Yeah, see, it's always creating it up there. So I don't know if it's actually running. I guess what we could try doing is printing. See if it prints anything. Say print XY. Is that right? Wait, am I supposed to have semicolon? I think those are optional, right? I guess I could also set a breakpoint, huh? See if get is being called. Oh, the problem is that it's of course being called because yeah, it's going to be no semicolons allowed. Guess we can see. It says it's loading. But it's not affecting the transform properly. Dang. Oh, you know what I could do, duh. I don't know why I didn't think of this before. Let's set a breakpoint here. And then we can go to, after we do get transform. So actually we could go right into here. Run it, and we can see that T is transformed, right? Maybe. Maybe you can't. Transform component, there we go. Okay, and then if we step over this, it did not even call this. Maybe it's like running into an issue silently. Perhaps we can go up here. I don't know if I did this right. Dot. Then in the script, access the variables with a dot on the left side of an assignment. Looks like it should work. Oh, I didn't say local for this transform. I don't know if that makes a difference. Oh look, I printed it. Okay. So that's getting it properly. So it is running the script and getting those variables right. It seems like it's not calling this properly or something. Let's try doing this once more. Get, put a breakpoint right there. Yeah, it's just not calling this world.getTransform. Something is wrong. I don't know what. Make sure that that's being exposed properly. Lua user types. Get transform has. So I'm wondering if this is working at all or what. Is the world exposed to Lua? It is right here. State new user type. I guess I could just try printing what entity and world are too. See what it says. You are only exposing get transform function, not world itself. This user type is everything, right? User data, user data. Okay, that's not super helpful. Try print type world. Okay. Oh, it doesn't know what entity is. That's true. It doesn't know that entity is really just an integer. I wonder if there is any way to do like an automatic casting or something. It's just a blank. It's just a blank. I am calling that. I guess perhaps I should try. Let's try passing in a vector and seeing what it does with that. So we'll take the event button. So we'll say position is equal to our vector position. Wait, I think that's a pixel vector. See what it says about that. See if that works at all. But yeah, it is true that I'm not exposing the entity. I don't think I ever need that stuff. Just say it's a read only. Oh, is it confused by whenever I do that? I'm not sure. I don't think it should be. Now we have the entity ID in here. I don't know if it knows that that is an entity. Hey, Steve Void, what's up? How's it going? Oh, whoops. I forgot about that. I had changed this. This needs to be get transform is world get transform component. Oh, whoops. I should fix that. Okay, hopefully that works. Yeah, we're working on Lua scripting stuff today still. Trying to just like test this stuff out. Make sure it's working. Today's probably going to be a fairly short stream. I am super tired all of a sudden. I'm going to try to push through as far as I can, but dang. Hitting a wall here. What's Soul 3? Soul 3 or Soul 2 is a C++ Lua binding library. It's yeah, I think he branded it a few years ago as like Soul 2, but then he just released a new version of it that he calls 3. It's a little confusing. I changed entity.h, which is included in a lot of places. Probably more than it should be. That's something that I think soon we should do, is go through and really look at every header file and even every CPP file and see what exactly we are including and what we could like do forward declarations for it. Because I feel like it shouldn't be this bad yet. Okay, let's test this out. Have you tried CMake build system? Perhaps. Well, it would still be using this compiler. I have used CMake in the past, but CMake builds your builds. It's like it sets things up so you can run the compiler easily on different platforms. It's still just saying user data. Oh, it is getting the vector correctly though. So that's working, but it seems like our entity does not work. Can I do entity.uid? What if I try that? Maybe I should move the script outside of that file. Okay, well, let's actually break here. Not that. This says it's 419 something something something. I got a copy of it. I ended with 60. Aha. So that looks like it's getting the entity UID correctly. That Lua code 228. Yes, this is Lua code. Yeah, I was just verifying that it was properly giving us the entity UID. Okay, so let's try. But why is it not calling world? I don't get that. It doesn't seem to be calling world. And it doesn't seem to be getting our transform. So everything is being created at 0, 0. What can we do to try to further test this? I'm wondering if I need to do something with this. Like maybe it is giving us our transform. Perhaps, okay, let's try doing this. Let's say we have a second one, which is going to have this here. Can I just say moved? I think so. It might be that it's getting it, but it's not setting ref. But then again, I don't think it's actually printing. Yeah, see, it doesn't print that. So it's like running into an error here. And it doesn't do anything about it. Maybe I need to get the error. Error, error. Okay, so yeah, I'm trying to figure out if I want to store a pointer into Lua. Reference. So that should be storing the reference. My best guess right now is that this is not calling the world transform properly. Try type world.getTransform should return function. Sure, we can try that. Hey, Mr. Pound Sign and Sniper, what's up? We're just working on trying to get this Lua code working. Having it so that it can be able to do something like get the transform component for a specific entity and modify it. So we're just kind of, yeah, testing out our Lua user types that we have exposed. It says it's a function, but then it seems to not return after that. See, it doesn't ever say anything after it. It should be printing moved, but it doesn't. So this is a function. Let's see if, how do I know, or yeah, let's figure out if we can print some error or something around that. Error, error. functions, multiple call returns. Resolve. Oh, that's so much nicer. I didn't know about that. Soul resolve. It's trying to access field inside transform variable that's not available. Really? It should be. I mean, I guess we could always say like print transform, right? See if it says anything. But transform component has a bound, and we expose the rect, and bounds has an X and a Y, so that should work. What does Lua do? It's a scripting language allowing us, or enabling us to do many things with it. Yeah, see, we don't even get a return. We're not printing anything after that point. So it's not even being able to print the transform type. So something is happening on that world.getTransform line that just is broken. Did you export rect type to Lua? Yes, but we're not even getting to the point where we are trying to use the rect. It's not printing this line right here. Right? So that's not the issue. The problem is with the world.getTransform. I tried breaking on the get function and it didn't work. Here, let's try this. Let's put a breakpoint. Oh, not breakpoint. Oh yeah, we'll do world dot has. I don't know if that's actually right. Is it has? Has. Yeah, so we could do that. Debug traceback. I think it might be losing a few frames. Oh, I did. Sorry, guys. Oh no! Hopefully it doesn't lag. Yeah. Not sure what's up with that. Debug traceback. Returns a string with a traceback of the stack call. That's cool, but I don't think we need that right now. We're not, I mean, it's not a question of like where we are at. It's more like why is it failing to call this function? But yeah, we can do this has and just see if it works here. Maybe we could even print that or something. We could do, yeah, print has. See if that works. Yeah, so now it's not even being able to call the world has function. I do expose that, right? Yeah. So it's like I'm passing in this world and it's just not working, period. Why? Maybe I need to do something like this. Standard ref. Maybe because it doesn't have a constructor or something like that, and I'm trying to use it. I don't know why that would be a problem, but yeah, it's just not working. So I'm not being able to use this world at all. Okay. Why? It knows it's a user type. Hey, Shakama Gaming, what's up? Have I been here before? I don't recognize your name. I don't think so. If you have, you would have lurked or maybe different username, but I don't recognize your name. Welcome though, welcome. Okay, so what we're trying to do here is that we have our Lua user types, so our C++ classes and structures are being exposed to Lua. You know, we have this binding set up so we can actually like pass stuff to Lua, and they're being set up here in this file that's generated for us thanks to our script that we set up. And I'm now actually trying to use it. So we did successfully get it using our vector, which is nice, but it's not working with the world. I guess one thing I could try is doing something like this, where I say position move 10 10. Just make sure it's calling any functions properly. Maybe I have that set up wrong. That vbuff no. Look at that. Now it's not even calling that. So it seems like it just can't call functions, period. Something is wrong with my functions. Okay, so what I'd really like to be able to do is get... I don't know if I need to do this ref thing. But yeah, I would like to be able to get some error if that occurs. Like, I don't know how to do that. If there is a way. Self-call functions, maybe in here. Whenever we call a function, is there any way to do some error? Like, does this return anything? This load result, whenever we call it, no except. Get call, there's the call protected function. So what does that return? Decal type auto. Oh, I need to close. All with the colon. Oh, you know what? Maybe you're right. You might be right on that. I think you might be right. They talked about that somewhere. I think maybe in here. Yes. I think you're right. I think we need to do a colon has colon. Yay! Seeds victory! Good job. Great strike. Okay, cool. So we're doing it now. It's all working. So it just freaks out if we use the dot instead. Cool. So that's actually working, and it correctly moved it and everything. We can see here, function user data. Yeah, moved it. Nice. Cool. As is true. Bonsai. Nice. So this is obviously a very stupid script to do, but colon passes self as reference automatically. Yeah. Yeah, I saw that here, and I actually read that before. I just forgot about that. It's just, yeah, not used to it. Okay, cool. So one thing I wanted to see, what happens if I don't pass this world as a reference? What happens? Does this still work? It does. Okay, cool. Excellent, excellent. Okay, so we got that working. That's great. So one thing we need to do is generate all of these. Like, we need to do this for every single component. We're like, oh, we have a transform component. Hey, we have a render component. Hey, we have a animation component. and a spine component, and so on. And then we need to create, you know, spine, render. Oh, oops. This is spine, animation, spine, you know, and so on. So we need to do that for all of them. And also we need to do get world, or I don't know if we have to change it. It might just be like this. Get entity layers, I think, is a world thing. At world, get world entity layers component. Yeah. So I think we also need to do this. And so it's a lot. How are we going to do that? So basically support a templated function. That's what we need to do. So if we go over to here, right now we're not exposing it. What I'm thinking of doing, saying Lua func, and then I was thinking about supporting arguments that you can pass into it. Maybe we'd even do func template. And then one thing I was thinking of doing is saying that you could pass in like components, and it automatically knows what components are or what world components are. Like that's a special list. So then we can just automatically create all of that for us. Yeah. An idea I had. I kind of like it. I don't know if we really need this. We could probably just do that. And you know what? I'll probably add in the func template. That might make it a little easier. Func template. And then we can just put parentheses around it. So then you could easily pass in stuff if you need to. So components would be something special. So we would want to do that for this and that. Unfortunately, stuff like this, I need to rename. Like this, I think needs to be changed to add. Fortunately, it's not really used. Add physics. Add. No, it would be that one. Add component. Something like that. So what we're going to need to do is be able to, well, one is parse this Lua func template. And the other thing we need to do is also get the list of components, which we should be able to do. And here, So we have this prefab component. Another possibility is that we could split it here. That might work. So maybe I'm thinking, what would be the best way to do that? What if I made it like this? Component dot dot dot. I kind of like that. Kind of like that. Activate, deactivate. I don't really know if we want to be able to do that complicated of stuff with this. I might end up removing those. This is world component. Get world. Hey Roselle, how's it going? What's up? Yeah, and so then what we could do is we could parse this, and if we find this dot dot dot, then maybe what we could do is automatically like make a list of what this stuff derives from, like every structure derives from. So it could be like parent or something. I'm not sure what. My hand is super dirty. I got some primer on it. I think this will work. So let's go to our script here. Play around with that. So let's see here. First off, we have this func starts with, so that doesn't quite work. Or I guess what we could do is put it above. Oh dang, that's actually a good point, is that is actually going to cause issues. Maybe what we could do is this. Is that the same line? Yes. Okay, cool. So we can move that up. Sure. Oh wait, isn't this supposed to be in like read-only vars? I think that was broken anyways. Replace star with nothing. Shouldn't it be for both of those? I think I'm just gonna do this. Nice. I think that looks a lot nicer. Okay. So what we could do in here, so this pulls out what? The name of the function, and that's it. So let's actually change that. Operator S space word. So what are we pulling out here? Oh, that includes if it's like operator equal. Yeah, right. Now what I'd like to do, so I need to do two things. One is if it's func template, We actually need to do some very different things with that. So maybe we'll say if it's this func template, then we'll do some other things. So that's just to get the name, but we might also need to, in this case, add in a bunch, right? And it's going to be a lot more complicated. Actually, now that I think about it, what we might need to do is change that sum. So we have our functions in here. So this is what the function looks like. So it just takes the func. Yeah, let's maybe say, so this is the name. Maybe func name and func. How about components like this that you load on the C++ side? This is component prefab for some entity. Position, health, velocity. Yeah. Yep. I want to do something like that exactly, where we have exactly the component prefab on Lua side. And we then parse that, or we pull out that data and we create a prefab. So at runtime, we'll do that. And then maybe we'll even have it so that way we can create a binary version of all of that data that we ship with the game, so it could load it up really fast if we, you know, whenever we're like releasing the game. It's kind of the same idea as what I did with Korea. Oh, I was going to pull up this. That's what I mean by prefab templates. And I did that for Korea. If we look at a CE file, like this is a monster file, it's really complex. But if we go to, let's say, like table.ce, so that's kind of the same thing. This is a Python file, and we say, hey, this is an item, which means that it has an item component. And then it also has a craftable component, and here's a bunch of data for the craftable component. And then we have a placeable, which we can set up, and also that it has physics. So like we can do a bunch of stuff, and these functions will have like default values, so it like properly adds that. So we're kind of like creating this table. Well, that's overloaded. The word table is overloaded. What I mean is we go to like a window or something, window panel. So this window panel, we are creating a table. Well, this was Python, but in Lua, we'll create a Lua table that will have all of the different components, and then we can iterate through that and say like, hey, does this have a transform entry in the table? If it does, then let's, you know, get all of the values out of that. And one thing I'm thinking, I haven't really thought it all the way through, but I'd like to do something similar, which is have like templates or functions that I can call or something where it's like, hey, set this up with all of the default values that we would want to use, and then you know, set all of the entries within those that table to have these values, like level is 10 and offset is pixel vector 33 and so on. And then this can also add in other stuff. But why do you create different user data for components in the first place? It was of time, isn't it? Why do I create user data? Well, then I can just store it, right? That's nice. It's a waste of time. I don't know if it's a waste of time. I mean, it might be. I don't know. I haven't thought about how we want to do it. And I came up with that Python Korea version like 6 years ago. Maybe there's a better way. I haven't thought about it. I think we could do something like that. We could have templates. Maybe we create user data. Maybe we don't. Maybe it's just straight up tables. I'm not sure. We can look at it. Okay, so what I want to do in here is, yeah, now we're going to have a tuple of a func name and the function. And so this will be func name. So we can actually have that be different, and then function, I think that's fine. So then we can go down here to the function stuff, and this will just be name group one, so it's the same. But hey, if it's a template, then suddenly that needs to be different, because now we need it to be something more along the line of like, well, we need to parse, figure out what exactly that's going to be, but it might be something like for specialization and specializations, maybe, so let's get, so this could possibly be like name group one plus the specialization, and then this would be no, I mean treat components like regular Lua data. Sol can help you expose Lua tables to C++ side. Well, that means that then everything that's in C++ would be Lua tables. That is way slower to access. I'm like positive it's way slower to access than if I have it in my structures. And it's like, you have to think about, you know, how we're using this data. All of my systems are going to be on the C++ side. So that means that our component pools should really be storing structures that are preferably as tightly packed as possible so we can iterate over them quickly and be using that. Like, that's the stuff that's going to be running every frame, and sometimes multiple frames, you know, and loops and everything. The Lua code is just going to run in like callbacks and, you know, only be used occasionally. Like, it's going to be running at a fraction of the times that the C++ code is running. So we really should be optimizing the C++ stuff. So Lua's kind of like a second-class citizen here, which is fine. Okay, and so this will now be name, or I get, actually I probably should do something like this. Func. Maybe I'll just do name and specialization, and so this could be format. Name equals name, and this is specialization. The one tricky thing about that is I don't think this would be transform component, which is not what I want. So maybe I need to like strip off that from the end. So we need to parse whatever's in here. What I was thinking about doing is having all of our classes, like creating a mapping or something where it's like every class or structure that we expose will be added to this dictionary as an entry, and also any classes that we encounter, if they derive from a base class, then we add that as an entry, and then we add the class that is deriving from it as inside of that list. Right, I think so. I think that's what we want to do. And then if so that way we could like encounter, if we go to this world.hpp or h, we would see like this component. So it would say, oh, component ... That means that we want this to be a list. And so convert that, like find whatever this is, the component, and all classes that we are exposing, creating bindings for, that derive from this will be added into that as like it kind of explodes it out. So it's like, oh, component ... actually means transform component, render component, animation component, spine component, physics component, etc. And then it could also work with the world component. That's what I'm thinking for that. So we need to do a few things with this. First, I guess what we need to do is figure out what are these specializations. Right now, it's an empty list. We need to actually populate that. So we need to pull out what this is. And then we also need to add in support for having that base class stuff. All of that data. So we can look it up. So this could also work, like, let's say we only wanted to create a few. I would also like to support something like transform component and animation component and so on. Because like, we actually don't need all of the, like for activate and deactivate, we only need a few of those. Like I think physics component and maybe animation component. And perhaps that's it, or maybe we would have like 2 other ones. And so we could just do that instead. A slightly better way that we can make this work. Hey, Major Potato, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. One thing I could see this being better is if we supported tagging. I kind of like that. So what if we did this and we say, oh, this is a component. I kind of almost like this more. So we could add in a list of tags. Yes, I like this more. So let's not parse what it's deriving from. Let's support tagging our user types, and then we can use that. Yeah, I like that more. So that means that this oh wait, our template. Oh no. Template. That might be okay. Maybe we don't need to support that one. The template one. It's a little awkward because now it's like, I don't know. Yeah. It also means that we need to always have that. I guess that's okay. Right, I think that should work. Yeah. So those would all be components. think I like that. So we can get it working here. So whenever we are pulling out, so we split it, right? So that's specializations. So we want to pull out the tag here. So we say, hey, if it starts with user type, then great. If it doesn't start with a template, then we get down to here. And so we're actually, before we move on to the next line, we need to pull out right here all of the tags. That should be easy. I think template usings. Think in addition. Tags. Yeah, we want the tags to live. User type tags. We want to pass that. Includes parse header. Template usings. We'll pass that there. And then down here, we want to have that user type tags. So then in here, what we want to do is take that line, split it on the first, the open brackets, take what's after the open brackets, then split it on the end bracket, take what's before it, actually, I don't know if that's going to work quite right. Because what happens if... Hey, Cooler and Froggy, what's up, guys? Welcome. What happens if we have a, test... So if we do a split on open bracket, we get that. And then if we say, let's take the first thing, we get that. But what happens if we split on that? Then it's empty. I see. So yeah, we need to... And then what happens if I try to split? I guess I need to just make sure that it's not empty, huh? Yeah, so then, wait, hold up. If I do a split on that, list object, oh, whoops. It's nothing. Yeah. Okay, so this will be tags. And then what I want to do is split, say if tags. I think at that point we can do user tags. Extend it by tag dot, what is it called? Not split. Trim, strip. Strip off any extra stuff for tag and tags dot split on commas. So that should give us all of the tags. And we, oh wait, we extend it. That's not right. What we want to do is for each tag. Okay, so this is actually wrong. What we want to do is say strip it. Tag, yeah, so we strip it, and then if the tag is in user type tags, we want to, I guess we could do a default dict. That would work. Ooh, so this could be a default dict of a list. And so default dict is coming from collections, import collections, from collections, import default dict. So then what we can do down here, we don't have to like check to see if it's in it or anything. We can just say user type tags, tag, push or append our class, which we haven't actually figured out yet. So I guess we need to do that down here. There we go. That's names, right? So we can just say extend names. Cool. So that's our result. Maybe result match Lua type word. Okay, yeah, we don't want that. Yeah, this works. This gets our tags. So we should be tagging things properly. One thing we could do is set a breakpoint in here, make sure that is being tagged. We should be able to see it being tagged here in component. Oops. Func name. So it's running into an issue with that. I screwed things up. Hold up. So it's down here. Line starts with func template. So that should work. No, it's not. Wait. Func. Oh, whoops. I see what the problem is. It's this. My bad. My bad. Tags, list index out of range. I see. So it doesn't have if line. If we'll say if that is in the line, otherwise empty. Which is kind of lame, but whatever. Okay, here we go. Here's tags is component. Nice. Continue. So now we should have user type tags. This component with that. Excellent. So we can continue. Nice. See, so it's adding in our transform component and render component and everything. That looks good. Looks like that's working. So then what I'd like to do actually is, I think, I'm not positive I want this. It's a little weird, maybe, but I think what I might want to do is, wait, is this right? Maybe, I guess I could do it down here. Yeah, we'll do this. So if it starts with Lua func template, this is where we need to do the specialization. So what I'm thinking we could do is at this point in here, we could take this. So like if we're iterating over, we find component, we're iterating over this list of user types inside of that tag. If it contains the tag in the name, like component, then it will remove that, right? That's true. Yeah, but the problem is that maybe I need to change it then. I have my world components that do not have world component on it, right? It's this, yeah. So maybe I should rename these to be like rendered layers world component. I think I might do that. So then that would work. I'm like super out of frame. Okay, that's better. I was like slowly moving away. Okay, we'll try that. So yeah, we got that. Let's see, so now we need to pull out this stuff. This is a little trickier. Well, maybe, actually maybe not. We can do pretty much the same thing. So I know that this code is not the nicest, but it works. So we can take this line. Say this is our specializations. And then maybe what we can do at that point, specializations. Yeah, maybe, yeah, I guess we could do here. If the specialization, whoops, ends with ... then what we want to do is instead for we kind of want to explode this, huh? Right. Maybe we don't have to. For what is that tag? Specialization tag. If it ends with and yeah, so if it ends with ... then what we want to do is I think something like specialization. Let's just strip off what was on the end. Right, so I think that should remove the last 3 characters. And then we can say if this specialization, if specialization, actually we could do this. We could say user type tags get specialization, return an empty list. So that's our specialization, yeah. And then we could also say if the specialization tag, oh wait, if the specialization is in the specialization tag, then replace it with nothing, right? Replace specialization with nothing. And that would be the tag. Oh wait, that's not quite right. I think. Do it like that, and then this would be specialization tag. Okay. Nice. Power button died. Need to short it to power on. What? That sounds super sketch. Much like this code. Let's put a breakpoint in here and take a look. Okay, it's running into an issue with this. Oh, right, because it doesn't have specialization. So then this doesn't have that at all, right? Isn't it just that? Name. Yeah. Oh, whoops. That's kind of silly to do. Wait, what? Okay, I'm missing some code. $197. Wait, is that right? On keyword after. Oh, I see. But why is it not breaking here? Oh, I guess it's just parsing it. Pen takes exactly one argument. Oh yeah. I also need to fix that, huh? There we go. Nice. Okay, so we are now on line 192 right here. Excellent. Step specialization is C. That is wrong. So what's specializations? It's component dot dot dot. Wait. Okay. I see. I meant to do a split on commas. special stations component, special station is component, it ends with, so now specialization is component. Excellent. User type tags, that's all of our components. So now we do this, step specialization name is transform, and we are pending this. So if we look at our current user type.funcs, that's all of them. If we step now, we can see we have a count transform, which is a current count transform component. Do we really have that a thing? So we have count. Wait. What's this line? Lua func template. Count. Oh, wait. They just announced the new Xbox on E3? Oh, dang. Oh, man. I'm missing out on that? Nice. Cool. Yeah. Kind of bummed I missed that announcement. Cool. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing. I visited Croatia back in 2012. Croatia looks like a cool place. My friend actually just went there last year for like 4 or 5 months. I was super jelly. I wanted to go with, but I'm married and have a kid. Oh well, it's a small price to pay. What did I get wrong here? Name. So where's this name coming from? Oh, that's my problem, is that I'm not pulling out. Yeah. Okay, that's my problem, is that name is old. Okay, we are kind of close. So what we actually need to do is skip this line. So we need to figure out what this name is, the function name. So we kind of need to do something like, so this is our specializations using the line. Now what we need to do is go to the next line. So if we do this, what we can do is say if line if line starts with template, then we'll just skip to the next line again, and then we should be able to pull out the name from the line here. So let's try that now, and this is quite a lot. Template. What's the name? Name. Oh, that should be fine. Name.group1 is add. That sounds right. Okay, let's comment this out and run it. And oh wait, I don't want that. And then let's go to our Lua User Types. Hey, look at that. Nice. We have all of these like add transform, add render, add animation, add spine, add collision. Man, this is ridiculous how many it is. It's gonna have so many by the time we're done. Nice, cool. So that is working. Excellent. We have a bunch of issues we need to go resolve. It's because like now it's expecting things to be, so like that wasn't set up. So anywhere that we have this user type, let's just look for everything. If it doesn't end with brackets, then it's, or parentheses, then it's a problem. Looks like that's it. Fortunately, we haven't done too many. So does that compile now? It should. So that's cool. So we got that tagging stuff set up. Looks nice. Too many arguments. I think I need to do this. Dot, 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 dot. Oh. And also for that one. Cool, so that gets exposed. Yeah, we might need to like come up with a better way to do this. Because that world is going to be stupid long. But yeah, that technically should work. These wrappers are too hard to use. Who even goes to a friend's house? Who even has friends? Do you think these are too hard to use? I mean, yeah, they have a lot of stuff going on with them, but it's not too bad. Like, for this, we're being able to get this stuff. So, like, if I add in a new component, whenever we generate it, we're automatically going to have, you know, the correct function set up and everything. It's pretty nice. I honestly might be able to do something else. Like maybe there could be an add component, which is what we expose, and that returns like a sole, you know, variable or whatever. I think that they actually have something along those lines. Add expose on class label. Yeah, but thing is that there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, maybe we could be able to figure that out. It's not that complicated. But the thing is that like sometimes we don't want to, like I don't want all of this stuff exposed. I don't need to expose this stuff. I don't want it to be exposed. And so like how would me writing, you know, expose or whatever at the top, how would it know that I wouldn't want this stuff being exposed? That was something that I actually made a mistake with for Kriya, is that I exposed everything. And for this, I want to try to expose as little as I can. If I don't have to expose it, then good. Because then that means that we are potentially doing things, or there's a less likelihood that we are doing things that we shouldn't be doing. Like maybe we never want Lua to be able to add or remove components. Or maybe we never want it to be able to activate or deactivate components. That's quite possibly the case. Right now, I don't know how we want to use that. And honestly, what I would probably say is let's not add it in until we absolutely need it. I don't know if we really do need it. This is probably, these activate and deactivate probably is what we should be using for the systems and not the gameplay stuff. Probably. Yeah, actually, I take that back. There's, I think, one case we could be using it for physics stuff. You could say, oh yeah, the physics is now active, or the collision is now active. So maybe we do need it. I would probably argue, well, for this case, and maybe we could just do this, is say, oh, let's actually only make it available for the physics component for now. Or you know what? Oh no, that should be fine. That should be fine. So we could test that out. So that ran into an issue. Oh, I know exactly where that's at. These wrapper APIs need so many changes to get working. This stuff? I mean, I keep playing around with it. So, like, the world is going to be one of the most complex ones, right? Let's go look at the more common ones. Like, here we have our components. So we just say, hey, this is, you know, a Lua user type node constructor. It's a component, and it has a Lua var, or it has these Lua vars. Or like for rectangle, we say, hey, this is a Lua user type template. These are the template types that we support. And then here is the constructors that we want to expose and the Lua functions that we want to expose, and that's it. And also the Lua vars. So, I mean, it is, you do have to do it like for each line, but it's not that bad. I don't know. I don't think it's too bad to do this. Maybe there's a better way. I don't know. I don't know how you could do it better, but I'm also new to this, so I will admit that. What was I wanting to do? It ran. Oh, right. I wanted to go look at this. So, yeah. Oh, wait. Oh, this is wrong. Okay, yeah. We have to change that. Right. This is if it doesn't end with a ... Right. I messed up. Specialization name. So that I think is just specialization. Oh wait. That's kind of tricky actually. I need to think about that. Maybe I need to do some special stuff with that. Okay, so now it's saying is active physics component, is active physics component. I kind of don't really like that. Deactivate. Why is it doing both though? Let's look at that code. Oh, whoops. It's because I was telling it to do both. Ha ha ha. Okay, yeah. So the one thing I don't like about this is that now it has component, and I'm not sure how I want to be able to remove that. Thinking about that. The one thing I could do is just if it ends with component or world component, then strip that away. Trying to think of any other possibilities. So I could do the same thing I was doing here where I replace, I check to see if it has a user tag or if it's in a user tag, and if it is, then strip or replace the user tag with empty string, so just like remove it entirely. That might be able to work. Right now, the user tags are it's a key, so how could we need to like create some mapping or something like that. Or we could just iterate through all of them. I think that's what I might just do for now. Is just like look for, I guess if we ever have multiple tags, then that would be weird. Because then how would it know? I guess it just tries. For user type tag, or was that this is the tag and the class or user type. If well, that would be user types. if, what is this then? This would be the name group, name. I feel like I should just place that right. Name. Why don't I just do group 1? And then all of these places that I have group 1, oops. Yeah, I could just say name, and this would need to also be group 1. And then in here we could say if name is in user types, then let's change the specialization name. This is name. Wait, I'm confused now. This is the name of the function. This is wrong. This is wrong. This needs to be user type dot name. Current user type dot name in user types. Then we want to replace it with that. And this should actually be the current user type dot name, replace specialization. And then that would be the function name plus the specialization name. Okay, I think that's right. This code is like super. This is names. Let's just get the first one. Tag, user type tags, iter items. User type object has an attribute name. Oh, right, that needs to be specialization name. Stir object has an attribute templates. If user type dot templates. This is in 243 run 63. $243. Wait. Transform component. Why are we inputting transform component as the user type? User type. Doop it doop it doop it doop. You guys probably heard that, huh? I am not sure how that is getting messed up. Where are we? Current user type. Current user. Pinned. No, oh wait, no. User types dot append. am I doing here? File user types. Pinned the user types from that file. I don't see where I'm setting the current user type. Oh, is it because I am messing it up here, huh? That's what's happening. I think so. Yeah, okay. I was overloading what user types was. Is active world physics component? Is active. That's not quite. I removed the physics component part. Okay, so that's definitely wrong. Why is it world now? Is active world. What's going on with that? This is not right. Not right at all. Let's put a breakpoint here. Specialization name is world. Current user type dot names. Right. Current user type. Okay, right. So that's the world. Sure. That's probably what I did wrong. Yeah. What did I do wrong here? Name. Yeah, I think I got confused for a minute. Specialization name. So wait, what's this specialization name? The line specializations. It's physics component. Yes. So I did have that right, specialization. And then say if it's in that, no, if tag is in the name, then we want to replace tagged user types. Oh wait, no. If the replace the tag with the empty. Okay, I think that's right. We will see. So tag is component. So specialization name is physics component. Tag is component. So if we step, now our specialization name is physics. Nice. Excellent. Excellent. Good. That's working. Awesome. Just got back from watching the Xbox 360 E3 or Xbox E3. Nice. Yeah, I heard that they announced a new console. That's cool. All right, so we got that working. Good, good, good. Let's add in the world component stuff. So, I mean, I don't really know what we need to expose, to be honest. There's probably very few things that we need to expose. Honestly, I don't know if we're going to need to expose any world component stuff. Yeah, I don't know if we are. But let's just try this. Let's say Lua, no constructor, world component. And then let's go over to here where we have this world component thing, I think. Get world component, nice, good. It's Project Scarlet, I see. So, oh, whoops. Let's actually. It doesn't like that. That is too bad. Oh, it doesn't like it, right? Because it's expecting me to say that something is exposed. Ten levels of indentation. Yeah, that script is kind of ridiculous. Parse header. Name.group1, replace star. That's 216. It doesn't, oh, it doesn't even know how to parse that. Trying to figure out what type this is, and this is failing. It's a dud. They spell dud, isn't it D? Dud, dud. Foo, whatever. Where's get world component? I don't see it in here. Get world. Okay, I guess we need to break in here. PDB lines. Where do we pull out the name? It's right here. Let's just print the name so I can see as soon as I run it. Add, continue, 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 continue. Here we go. Get world. Excellent. So let's see. what this says. That they revealed the release date of Cyberpunk 2077 4/16/2020. Cool. Nice. Excellent. Okay, so what's going on here? Specialization is world component. Special get wait. Why did it jump? It said for specialization and specializations. If the specialization tag is in it. So I guess that failed. Specialization. Oh, that's why. Yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah. I'm confused. Hold up. This is get world. Why? So wait, what's the specializations? World. User type tags. World. Oh, we don't have world component in here. Why not? Oh, we haven't parsed it yet. Oh no. That's a fail. Dang. Boo. Okay, so our problem is that we don't know this information yet. We have to wait. Yeah, we have to delay this until we get to this point where we're actually expanding everything, because we haven't necessarily figured out all of the user type tags. So what does that mean? I just have to add it in as a list, I guess. Like, maybe it needs 3 things now. Actually, I guess it would only need 2, which is the name of the function and all of the specializations. I think that's what we want. Hold up. Let me kind of save that. Oh my gosh. So much stuff. Okay, let's just do that one file for right now before I like tear this all up. So in that case, I guess all we really need to do is, we have the name here. I guess we can do it right here. Just say add it, and this is our specializations. And then all of this needs to happen up here when we are going through our function. So this is no longer func name. It is function and specializations. And I think what we might be able to do is just say, hey, if specializations, then we'll do a bunch of stuff. Otherwise, if it's super simple, then we can just do a func. So this is like the really simple version. This is the specialization version where we need to do this stuff. Hopefully we have everything we need here. And so instead of appending it, I think what we just need to do is write this out. And so this is the name, func name. Func name is equal to the name plus the specialization name. And then the function, I think is still, no, function will need to change as well. That is now, yeah, the name plus the specialization. Oh, that's not, that's the func name, right? So that's func specialization. Name, that's not quite right. This name is actually func plus that. Func name. That line is stupid long. This is a good example of how not to write code. Yeah, I don't know. There's probably a better way to go about doing this. Like a much cleaner way. Maybe. How is this different? I think it's pretty much the same. Specialization tag is the specialization. And name is the func name, so that seems good. What is func name here? It's just name. Oh wait, sorry. It's going to be name plus specialization name. That is that. Yes. We're deep into the logic now. Yeah, this function. I mean, to be fair, this is doing some fairly complex code. Yeah, there's probably better ways to like clean it up and make it look a lot nicer, more readable. Okay, so world. Oh wait, I'm printing now. I want to print the function. That's what I want to do. Add, continue, remove, continue, get world. So what specializations? What do we have here? World component. So that's right. So if it ends with that, then we do that. So our specialization is now world component. And then we want to get user type tags. Like get specialization. Oops, specialization. Hey, we actually have an entry. So we step into it. Say, okay, here's our specialization name. Here's our func name. which is get world entity layers component. Kind of works. Yeah. So I think, oh wait. Well, oh, current user type. What's this one? Current user type. Funks. Oh, whoops. I meant to delete that. And what if we just do... I guess that's okay. Get world entity layers component, get world entity layers component. Nice. So one thing I was thinking about doing is saying, hey, let's actually make this be entity layers world component. And then whenever we run this, it's now get world entity layers. It properly strips out that component part because it's now a world component. I probably will go with that, but right now we're not going to expose any of those. So let's actually just like undo all of this for now. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. So we have this working nicely. So this file is being generated. Nice. And we are actually being able to fill these out with the whole tagging and everything. And we tested it some in our game.cpp file here, where we're actually being able to, and I can load it up and show you guys once more. We're able to, when we are creating an entity, we are telling the script to run and we tell it where to set the position. So it gets the transform component for that entity and then sets the transform component position or bounds to the position that we provided. And that's actually working. So basically we're able to get a component for an entity from the world and mutate it in Lua, which is awesome. That's like a really good step forward into getting this all working. Ran out of water. No. So, we're going to be wrapping up here. Let this compile, show you guys what it looks like whenever it runs. And so what I'm thinking we're going to be working on starting tomorrow is probably actually our prefab template stuff. We can start thinking about how that's going to work, getting that stuff set up so that way we can have Lua scripts that are defining our prefabs, that's our content in the game, like swords and trees and devices, etc., items, whatever. Those are prefabs. Have those be defined in Lua, and then we're loading them up at runtime, and we're being able to populate our prefab stash with them. It's still going. And so that's what we'll start tomorrow. Oh no. No. Oh, you know what? This is not that hard to fix. Dang, it does mean I need to figure out a way. So we need world, oh no, wait. Yeah, we need world.hpp for this. I guess what I need to do is, yeah, okay. We can do that really quick. Okay, hold up. Before we leave, what we should do is, so we have the file name and we have func template. What we need to do is whenever we are creating our header files, or our includes, we have our includes here, file name, length, includes, we append that. I think maybe what we should do is return the file name as well. And then what we can do in here is say, if we used func template, or yeah, encountered func template, then let's make the file name add pp. Oh man, I love it. It's just like, it makes it just even more unreadable. This code. Hey there, Null Jupiter, what's up? How's it going? So we need to go up here and say, hey, this is a false. Then dump down to here. If we start with that, let's just say true. And see if that works. Oh yeah, it works. I love it. It's so beautiful. Okay, so we're compiling that. Just add the PP to the end. It'd probably be better if I said like replace .8 with .hpp or something. I don't know. We're only iterating over. I guess we iterate over. No, yeah, that's right. We do only iterate over header files, .h files, right? Yeah, and here I say star.h. There's what I'm doing. Hey, there we go. So yeah, projectDIG is a 2D multiplayer automation survival sandbox game. Multiplayer, yeah, 2D multiplayer automation survival sandbox game, yes. That I am developing a custom C++ engine for. We have created an entity component system, and we've actually written a lot of like kind of core engine code over the last 52 days, 53 days. And right now we're working on adding in Lua scripting support to it. So this is just our little like test sandbox here. So now what it's doing is it's actually running this code down here. Says, hey, here's the script. Whenever we are creating an entity, we tell it that we want to reposition it, and reposition is coming from the script. It is the script. And so we pass in the world, the entity, and the position, and then it gets the entity transform component and then set it's bound to the position, and that's how it's being set here. You can see this guy's not moving because we don't actually tell it to animate. But yeah, so that's all working now. Awesome. Looks good. Yeah, so I'm actually going to be calling it here. Like I was saying, we're going to be working on adding in support for this prefab loading with like templates. So we'll probably first figure out like what are the templates going to look like, write some example scripts, figure out how we want to do that exactly. That might take like a day or two by itself. I would like to really spend some time thinking about it. And then we can start working on implementing support for that so we can load up our entities. And while we're at it, once we get like the basics working, I also want to add in some support for hot reloading the prefabs, and that will be very awesome, I think. Yeah, I have some ideas on how to do that. That should actually be really easy with this system. Yeah. Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you guys for joining. If you're not following already, feel free to follow. You can see my schedule down below. I do stream every single day, and all of the VODs are uploaded to YouTube, so you're welcome to check that out. I'm getting caught up. I was kind of really behind, like 10 days behind on the VODs, but I got the majority of them up now, and I'll try to get the rest up tonight. So yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good rest of your day. Later.